if you're with us last night, you know one of the things we promised, and that is to do some fundraising for Women's Refuge. We felt last night a little bit, I don't know what the word is, Chewie. We couldn't, what could we do? We felt a little bit aimless. We're like, this government, I was talking to someone today, Chewie, and the Equal Pay Act dates back to 1972. And I thought, the National Party, well, it's ACT, but the national-led government gets rid of 50-year legislation that benefited women. And I just know there is another legislation that benefited women that recently the American National Party got rid of as well. It just seems that there is, it felt so wrong last night. And there's a couple of blokes who I guess would be the beneficiary of all the other stats going the other way a lot of times. We didn't quite know how to address it or what to do other than give space to Jantonetti to share her thoughts. But we thought what we can do, what we do well, especially with this amazing community that's around us, is maybe we could try and help one of the places that helps vulnerable women every single day of the week, not on a Tuesday night when we get a bit uppity about a new news story. They're doing it all the time. And so you guys suggested Women's Refuge. So let's welcome to the show Suzanne Barker from Women's Refuge. Suzanne, hello, good evening. Thanks for joining us.
Good evening.
Kia ora.
Kia ora. Thank you for having me.
Oh, dude, thank you for being on. Let's just tell the people what we're doing, all right? And then I want to ask you a couple of questions about Women's Refuge so everyone knows what it is. So I did some work on the merch store today, right? I've changed all the titles out and that kind of stuff. And now what we're going to do is any hoodie that is purchased during May, so starting tonight through to the end of May, we're going to donate enough money for a safe night at Women's Refuge. 2 t-shirts will also donate a safe night, or then enough money for a safe night at Women's Refuge. Now, let me make it really clear. That doesn't mean you have to buy 2 t-shirts. Someone in Whangarei buys one, someone in Oamaru buys one. There's 2 t-shirts. There's a safe night. We have, if you want to get behind it in its entirety, the buffers now. There are some Women's Refuge buffers. That's the purple and orange. And I do realise there are blokes wearing these t-shirts, but it's a multi-sex thing that we use, and they're the only ones that we had. So before you message me saying why are there men in t-shirts for Women's Refuge, look, just I'll have a look around and see if the catalogue also has women. I agree with you, but this is what I did today to get up on board. So there are actually Women's Refuge hoodies. They're buffer hoodies, but to support Women's Refuge specifically. But if you buy anything else of the merch that's on there as well, if you've been hanging out and waiting for a Nikki No Boats or a Chewie Fufu, or one of those things, then any hoodie, 1 night, any 2 t-shirts, 2 nights. So Susan, why don't we just start by, because so people know what they're doing, can you explain to us what a safe night at Women's Refuge is? What will people be donating towards?
Sure. So a safe night is just a safe night in one of our refuges, but also we provide support to women in the community. So the safe night could be in their own home as well. And one of the things we really want to get across is we're not just a shelter. A safe night means having an advocate, having someone to deal with MSD with you. It can mean getting counseling appointments. It can also mean paying for Tomariki's after school activities. So it's a wraparound service. And at the moment, women are staying in our accommodation on average around 36 days. So it takes a lot of safe nights for us to look after women and children.
Yeah, that's huge. I also want to say really clearly, if you go to BH, what's the website called? BHN Shop, or is it, I always get that wrong, BHN Shop or BHN Store? BHNshop.nz. If you go there, there's also links, as I said, to the Safe Night site. If you're sitting out there right now, if you're listening to this on demand and you're going, oh, I've got a couple of bucks, I can't really afford a hoodie, then just go and give your money to Women's Refuge. In fact, if you go, I got $100 for a hoodie, how could that money be used best? If you'd rather give that $100 to Women's Refuge, then go and do that. This is just a little thing on the side that maybe we can help out as well, to introduce the Safe Night. I'd never heard of the Safe Night before we actually looked at it last night, Susan, so I'm glad we've found out about it, because it seems to be an inexpensive way to support some amazing work that you guys are doing. So the links are on the shop as well. Now, I guess, Susan, when we were talking about this legislation or the repealing of this legislation last night, the themes obviously around it are women earning less. What does the research say about women and money, and does that impact, for example, women becoming more vulnerable? You may see women in women's refuge more often if there are money issues.
Absolutely. I think, first of all, we see women from all walks of life, but you can imagine that if you're in a situation where you're being abused and you don't have financial security, that is a big factor for you staying. Because one of the main concerns that we see from women who want to leave is, how am I going to support myself? How am I going to support my children? So it's very directly correlated. I don't know. I mean, even if you talk to someone who's in a marriage without abuse, finances are a big reason a lot of people stay even when they're unhappy. So you can imagine when you're with someone who's abusing you.
Yeah. What do you want to know, Chewie, after this conversation from last night?
You were very strongly the top suggestion when we were just spitballing what charity to throw out and support. So, yeah, I guess more generally, like we're doing this. What is the best way that people can maybe support Women's Refuge in a longer, more consistent fashion?
Yeah, so again, like totally support the idea that it's tough economic times. If you don't have the money to support, it doesn't have to be money. We're always looking for volunteers. We're always happy to receive food items, personal care items, and things for our refuges. So it doesn't always have to be a monetary donation. And also, like the Safe Night program, if you do have the money to donate a safe night every now and again, that's incredibly helpful. And we also are starting to just try to talk to people about like taking care of each other. You know, if you know somebody who's going through this, 1 in 3 women in New Zealand are, so there's bound to be somebody, you know, a friend of a friend, like just be there to listen and not judge. So that's one of the ways that supports us, when people have people in the community that they can go to and eventually, work up the courage to ring us.
I was just thinking, Susan, if someone's watching or listening, or they know someone knows someone that they think, I don't think this woman's in a very good position. Is there anything you can say to either them or perhaps their allies, their friends and family out there? Like, are there any? I'm not trying to look for like an instant kind of a way of identifying, but are there any key markers that we can tell people about now that if they see or know of happening in and around them is a sign to be aware of things not being so crash hot at the moment?
Yeah, so I think if somebody starts to pull away, like from their family and friend group, and they seem to be isolated from their normal support networks, that's definitely a huge sign. If they say you're out with them or something, and they're constantly like having to check in with their partner or feel anxious about that, that's another sign. To be fair, a lot of women will try their best to hide it. They feel like it's their shame, not the abuser's shame, and they'll try to keep things going as normal as possible. And we just tell people to just check in. And the most important thing is not to judge, because that just makes people clam up and makes it feel like it's their fault. But yeah, definitely that isolation. They're not in contact with you. They seem anxious. They can seem more actually scatterbrained as well, because they're trying to juggle all these balls and keep their life together.
Mm-hmm. If people want to find out more about you guys, you are womensrefuge.org.nz. I'd like to put up the actual site, because as you can see on the site, it does go through the whole country. Someone on the chat right now says no shelters in Palmy. That's Palmy.
We have 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So there's a direct piece of information we can hand out there.
Yeah.
Womensrefuge.org.nz. Yes, for the person who said it in the chat, there are places in Palmerston North, but as you can see, right through the country. Do you know how many there are? How many actual locations right through the whole
41.
country? 41.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is what we're specifically going to look at through the rest of May is the Safe Night. You can gift a Safe Night directly to safenight.nz. If you want to do it on your own, go for it. Or you can, of course, come through the BHN shop and purchase something, and we will give proceeds to Women's Refuge as well. Thanks, Susan. Is there anything you want to leave us with? Is there anything else we need to know?
Well, thank you for having me on, and thank you for this initiative. It's really cool. I think one of the things we're just trying to get across to people is if you do have a question, even if it's the beginning of a relationship, you can call us for advice. You don't have to come stay in a safe house. We're there for everyone. You don't commit to anything. So if things aren't feeling right, please just reach out.
Cool. Hey, thanks so much for coming on. Thanks for letting us do some work for you guys. Because, there's a trust element there. You don't really know who we are, and we hope to get you guys a little bit of cash. But we'll keep you up to date with what's going on, and all the best with your amazing work. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right.
No
Thanks,
worries.
Susan.
Thank you.
So we'll just do that one more time for people. Yeah, because the commenter that said there's nothing in Palmerston North, that's why I wanted to specifically bring that up. Or you just go to womensrefuge.org.nz and Northland, Auckland, Bay, Plenty, Waikato, Gisborne, Hawke's Bay, Taranaki, Whanganui, Manawatu, Wairarapa, Wellington, Marlborough, Nelson, West Coast, Canterbury, Otago, Southland, 41 locations. So go and check it out for yourselves. And like I said, I'm very okay with you guys not buying hoodies or t-shirts if you're going to go straight to Women's Refuge and go straight to safenight.nz as well. The other thing about the hoodies and t-shirts is a bit of fun on the side, I guess.